I told you that in this Korean text, the glosses on the classics, there is a phrase about 8 dancers. This actually comes from a passage in the Analects where Confucius is talking about one of the noble families of his own state, the Ji family. And he says, the Ji family uses 8 rows of dancers in the courtyard. If this can be tolerated, what cannot be tolerated? Well, you would know, I guess if you lived at those times, that 8 rows of dancers in the courtyard was a prerogative reserved for the Lord, not for any old noble family. And he was using ritual, the ritual of a performance, to usurp the authority of somebody higher than him, or the Ji family was doing this. It was their way of encroaching on the authority of their superiors, which means that ritual can be used hypocritically. You can use ritual to seek advantage. You can use ritual, in fact, to go against the very purposes of ritual itself. And Confucius was aware of this problem, that ritual had become meaningless for many. And if you can't figure out how to make it meaningful again, if you can't figure out how to get a ruler to act as a ruler should act, a subject to act as a subject should act, if you can't do that, then there's no hope for getting back on the right way. And this is the moment at which I think we see Confucius, the philosopher Confucius, the first great thinker, moral thinker in Chinese history, emerge. Because he accepts that fact. And rather than going in the direction that some of his contemporaries did, which is to say, well, why don't we take rituals and define them as laws and demand that everybody follow these laws or they will be punished. And that way we could have a good society. Confucius says, no, that's not the solution. And what he comes up with is the notion that we have to bring an attitude towards ritual. He begins to focus on an attitude, and he has a name for it. He calls it Ren. And he says to his disciples, you know, if you want to be Ren, you can be Ren just like that. You can't do ritual without Ren. You can't make music work without Ren. You have to have this attitude of Ren. But his disciples get very confused. They keep trying to pin him down, to try to get him to define Ren as a particular idea or a set of words you could say, or a particular set of actions, ways to behave. And Confucius keeps pulling back. He says, no, Ren is something different. Ren is something different. And what is it? There's a passage in the Analects, and you can see it here. It's called the method of Ren, the method of what we might call benevolence, humaneness. Actually, any English translation isn't going to be fully adequate, but humaneness, benevolence, these work well enough. Confucius asked, how about somebody who could come in and and save the world, and make sure that all the starving were fed, and bring peace to the world. How about that? He said, wow, as Confucius says, that would be even hard for Yao and Shun, the great sage kings of antiquity. It'd be hard for them. But that's not Ren. That's not Ren. So what's Ren? He said, well, the method of Ren is to want others to advance to the degree that you advance yourself. In other words, it's not about self-sacrifice. It's about the ability to look at the other and see in the other your own interests as well, and want to advance their interests as you advance your own, to see yourself as part of a community where you're helping yourself move forward involves helping others move forward as well. So what Confucius seems to be saying is that to be a person of Ren is to bring to bear on your performance of your duties, of your activities, of your rituals, an attitude of concern for the others. A very simple thing. But if you think about it, that was in some sense the essence of ritual in the first place. That we are acting in harmony together, in response to each other. And Confucius is saying that's the attitude that consciously you must have in you and bring to your performance of life itself.